Alrighty. Sorry I couldn't be in class with y'all today. I wasn't feeling too well, so I thought it would be better if I just stay home. So I'm just gonna go over this practice test that we took on. What day was it? Wednesday, and make sure you're correcting your answers. And so the real test is next Thursday, and I'm gonna upload some review videos this weekend for those of you that want to study over the weekend. And I highly, highly encourage you watch them. They'll be very helpful. So the first question asks us, which parallelogram has an area of 60 square units? So we got to find the areas of all four of these. So let's start with this one. So remember, our area formula for a parallelogram is just base times height. And remember, the base and height, they got to be perpendicular, like this. They gotta be kind of like an L or a T. They gotta make right angles, right? So you can't just multiply any random base and height. They have to be perpendicular. You gotta make this kind of shape, like a 90-degree angle. Alrighty. So is it this 5 and 15? Well, let's see where they meet. Let's see, 15 here, 5 here, and nope, that does not look perpendicular. However, this line and this line look perpendicular. So this is our height, and this is our base. So we just plug it in the formula. So our base is 5. That's our base. And this is our height. So now I just do 5 times 12, which is 60 square units. So the question said, which parallelogram has an area of 60 square units? So this one has an area of 60. Now let's do this next one. So I'm looking for perpendicular lines. Are this and this perpendicular? Almost, but not quite. But it looks like this side and this line are perpendicular. But you might be wondering, how long is this? Well, all parallelograms, opposite sides are equal in length. I'm going to say that again. Opposite sides, so for example, these two sides are opposite each other. Opposite sides are equal in length. So if this is 6, then you know this is 6. Well, now I have the numbers I need. So I'll do 6 times 3, which is 18 square units. So this one does not have an area of 60, so I'm just not going to do anything with it. Then over here, again, I need a perpendicular base and height. So if I picked 6 and 10, that is clearly not perpendicular. It does not look like this. Looks like I can't even do it. Looks like that. I can't stretch my finger that much. But so not 10 and 6. But honestly, just if it's difficult for you, look for the perpendicular symbol and then start from there. So it looks like this side and this side are perpendicular, or over here. So if this line were to continue all the way here and this height. So 5 times, but what's this side? Well, I just said that opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So if this is 6, if this side's 6, then this side's 6. So then the area of this is just 6 times 5, which is 30 square units. So that is also not an area of 60, so I will leave it. And now this one. I look for my perpendicular symbol. I see right here. So I see that this line, this length, and over here, this side are perpendicular. So there's my base and height. So I do 15 times 4. This is 4. The length of this is 4. This 15 is this line, which we don't need. So 15 times 4, which is 60 square units. So A and B both have an area of 60 square units. Great. So now this part says select all parallelograms that have an area of 16 units squared. So these don't give you the lengths of the base and height like these, but they give you the unit squares. So you got to count the base and height yourself. So I'm going to pick this as my base because it's flat and it's easy to count. If I pick this as my base, it would be harder. So I'm going to pick this as my base. So let me count how long this base is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my base is 5. And let me count my height. 1, 2, 3. And that is perpendicular. So my height is 3. So my total area is 5 times 3, which is 15 square units. So we're looking for an area of 16, so not A. B. Let's count the base of B. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the base is 4. You could have also counted this as your base. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. And then this is not your height. This is not your height. Because look, if this was your height, look at this angle between this line and the 4. That is not perpendicular. Not perpendicular. So this is not your height. So you have to draw your own height. And you can draw it in a couple places. You can draw a height right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's perpendicular. Or you also could have drawn your height outside of the box. Or sorry, outside the parallelogram. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you gotta know when to stop. That's why they draw this imaginary line here. Because, well, if I went down another one, then the parallelogram doesn't go down that far. So that's why they draw that dotted line so that you know when to stop. Because if I went down here, the parallelogram doesn't go all the way down here. So I have to know where to stop. So, and this height is also still 4. So you can draw either height. So area of this is 4 times 4, 16 square units. So this one's an area of 16, so I'll circle that. Oh, I missed. And then let's find the area of C. So C. So this looks a little tricky because it's just slanted in a weird way, but you can just tilt the paper. And now I have a side that's nice and even along the grid. So I'm going to use this as my base. So this is 1, 2. And now I'm going to bring down my height. Again, this is not your height. This is not your height because look, this side and this side are not perpendicular. They don't make that L, not perpendicular. So this is not your height. So you can draw you got to draw a height. If this is your base and your base is flat like this, going in this direction, then the height has to be perpendicular right here. So that's your height. Or you also could have drawn it in here. All right, so let's count how long this is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just draw a perpendicular symbol. So height of 8. So base times height, 2 times 8 equals 16 square units. So C is also has an area of 16. Great. And now the square, which is also a parallelogram, same thing, base times height. 1, 2, 3, 4. Height, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4 equals 16 square units. So D also has an area of 16. Great. Next page. So now we're finding areas of triangles. And for this one, you just have to remember that the area formula is very similar. It's very similar to that of a parallelogram, but you have to remember it's base times height divided by 2. So you do base times height like normal, and then whatever answer you get, you divide that by 2. So over here, I'm looking for 2 perpendicular lines. these two look pretty perpendicular, and it has the symbol right there. So let me do my formula. Base times the height, which is 6 times 10 is 60. But then don't forget to divide by 2. Divide by 2 equals 30 square units. And then the question asked which triangles have an area of 30. So A has an area of 30. Now let's do C. So this one looks funky, but just if you see this, just use the sides that are closest to this symbol, because you know those sides or those lengths are perpendicular. So I have a 10 here and a 6 here. So it's going to be the same thing. Area equals base times height, so it's 6 times 10, which is 60. And then don't forget to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Whoops, not 20. 2 is, again, 30 square units. So C is also 30. Let's do E. So again, I got my perpendicular symbol. This line and this line are right next to it. So I do my area formula. Base times height, 3 times 10 equals 30. And then divided by 2 equals 15 square units. So this is not equal to 30, so I move on. And then D. 6 is my base. 10 is not your height because it is not perpendicular. But this 8 is perpendicular. That's your height. So you do 6 times 8, which is 48. And then don't forget to divide by 2, which is 24 square units. Alrighty, so D is also not equal to 30. All right, next page. So this one's kind of cool. You have to draw your own two parallelograms that have an area of 18. Well, first, you got to remember that the area of a parallelogram equals base times height. So you have to draw something with a base and height that multiply to 18. So a good first step might be to think, what two numbers multiply to 18? Well, 9 times 2 multiplies to 18, and so does 6 times 3. So maybe what you can do is draw two shapes with a base and a height of 9 and 2, and then 6 and 3, and then that will have an area of 18. So you can draw a parallelogram like, let me draw a height first. So I need a height, let me do a height of 2. Actually, no, let me draw a height of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's my height. And then I need a base of 2. That's it. And remember, a rectangle is a type of parallelogram. So you don't have to draw something like this, because a rectangle is a type of parallelogram, just like how tiger's a type of cat, lion's a type of cat, I don't know, leopard's a type of cat. A rectangle is a type of parallelogram. A square is a type of parallelogram. Same idea. So this rectangle has an area of 18 because it has a base of 2 and a height of 9. So now I have to draw another one, and I have to have a base and a height of 6 and 3. So I'll make my base 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need a height of 3. So 1, 2, 3. A height of 3, base of 6. And then when you multiply these, it makes 18. Now this one. So this asks you to find the area of the blue region. So if you do your regular base times height formula and you do 8 times 5, you get 40 square units. But that 40 is the area of this whole entire rectangle. But it's not asking for the area of the whole entire rectangle. It's asking for the area of the blue. But we have a little hole here. So if 40 is the area of this whole rectangle, how do we take this out? Well, if you notice, well, let me just adjust this lighting so you can see that there. So if you notice, it gives us a base and height for this shape inside. So what you can do is you can find the area of this and subtract it from the total area. So we have a total area of 40. So we did 8 times 5. That's the area of this, of everything in here, everything. But we want to take this out. So let's find the area of this, which is 3 times 2. Times 2 equals 6. So the area of this is 6, and the area of all this is, I won't write it, but it's 40. So we have to do 40 minus 6, which is 34 square units. So the area of just the blue is 34 and not the white. Okay, last question. So the last question was tough, but there's one simple thing you can do that makes this easier. You got to draw a line right here. And now, because before, without that line, this was a weird shape. We don't know how to find the area of it. But now, I just broke it up into 4 shapes that I know how to find the area of. I know how to find the area of a rectangle. I know how to find an area of a triangle. The area of a rectangle, or a parallelogram, or square, is base times height. The area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Well, let me find the area. Well, there's a couple things you can do. You can see that this entire side is 8. However, it looks like this line over here split these two sides up into 2 equal pieces. So if these are 2 equal pieces that need to add up to 8, that means this is 4 and this is 4. Here to here is 4. Here to here is 4, and here to here is 4. And they add up to 8. So if these are 4, that means that this line and this line is also 4. Here, let me make it more clear. Okay, so now I can find the area of this rectangle. So the height of this is 6, not 9. 9 is this whole side. 9 is this whole side. We just need up to here. So the area of this is 4 times 6, which is 24. And if this is 24, then this is also going to be 24 because they're identical. And then, now we got to find the area of these triangles. But how long is this line? That's our height. How long is it? This whole thing is 9, but how long is this? Well, gives you a clue. We know that up to here, this line is 6 feet long. This line is 6 feet long. Well, if up to here is 6, and then this has to add up to 9, then that means this is 3. Now I have a base and height for my triangle. So I'm going to do 4 times 3, which is 12. And then don't forget to divide by 2. So I get 6. So this has an area of 6, and this has an area of 6. And then we got to add it all together. So 24 plus 24, and then 6 plus 6. Well, these add up to 30, and these add up to 30. Then you get 60 units squared.